A lot of people over 60 believe that if they walk every day, they're doing everything right for their body. And honestly, for years, even many doctors believed that too. Walking is good for the heart. It helps circulation. It keeps people moving. But here's the part that shocks many of my older patients. I've seen people who walk 2 or 3 miles every single morning, yet they still struggle getting up from the couch. They still lose balance stepping off a curb. Some become afraid of stairs without even realizing why. And the real problem usually isn't their heart. It's muscle loss hiding deep in the lower body, especially in the glutes. Those muscles are like the body's support system. They keep you steady, upright, and stable. But after 60, if those muscles stop getting challenged, they slowly go to sleep. And when that happens, the risk of falling starts climbing quietly in the background. That's why, in today's video, I want to share 5 simple exercises that can help wake those muscles back up and help you stay stronger, steadier, and independent longer. Welcome to the Senior Health Channel. If you care about aging with strength instead of fear, make sure to subscribe and join us for more simple health advice that could truly change the way you move and feel after 60. For a long time, people were told that walking was enough to stay healthy after 60. And to be fair, walking absolutely helps the heart. It improves circulation, keeps the joints moving, and helps many older adults stay active. I still encourage my patients to walk every day. But here's the truth most people never hear. Walking alone is usually not enough to keep the body strong as we age. The problem is that walking is very repetitive. Forward, forward, forward. The body gets comfortable doing it. And some of the most important muscles, especially the glutes, barely wake up during a normal walk. That surprises a lot of people. The glutes are the biggest muscles in the body. They help you stand up, climb stairs, stay balanced, and catch yourself when you trip. But over time, if those muscles are not challenged enough, the brain slowly stops recruiting them properly. We sometimes call this gluteal amnesia. The muscles don't completely disappear overnight. They just become weaker, quieter, less responsive. And eventually, people start noticing little things. Getting out of a low chair feels harder. Stairs feel uncomfortable. Balance feels shaky on uneven ground. I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I walk every single day. Why do my legs still feel weak?" And honestly, this is usually the reason. The body needs more than movement. It needs strength. One of the hardest things about aging is that weakness usually doesn't show up all at once. It happens quietly, little by little. A person may feel fine walking through the grocery store, but then suddenly feel unsteady stepping onto a curb or walking across wet grass. And many times, the real issue starts deep in the hips and glutes. When those muscles get weak, posture changes, balance changes, the pelvis becomes less stable. Even getting out of bed or standing up from a chair starts taking more effort than it used to. What worries me most is that the body loses fast-twitch muscle fibers faster as we age. Those are the muscles that help you react quickly when you trip or lose balance. Walking alone doesn't really train them. It doesn't prepare the body for sudden movements or side-to-side instability. And that's often how falls happen. Not during exercise. During normal life, missing a step on the stairs, turning too fast in the kitchen, catching your foot on uneven ground. I've seen many older adults slowly lose confidence in their movement after one bad fall. After that, fear starts creeping in. They walk slower, avoid stairs, stop going out as much. And honestly, that loss of confidence can change a person's whole life long before serious injury ever does. The first exercise I often recommend to older adults is something very simple: step-ups. Honestly, it may not look impressive, but this movement tells me a lot about how strong and stable a person really is. Because stepping up safely means the body can still generate force using one leg without losing balance. That matters more than most people realize. Every time you step onto a curb, climb stairs, or get into a bus, your body is fighting gravity for a moment. And after 60, that ability can fade fast if it's not trained. What I like about step-ups is that they strengthen several things at once: the hips, the knees, the glutes, even bone strength in the legs. But the key is not speed. I tell my patients all the time, Slow and controlled is far more important than fast. You want the muscles and the nervous system working together again. I've seen older adults become noticeably steadier after practicing this movement consistently. Research has even shown improvements in single-leg strength and balance. And honestly, that's huge later in life. Because independence often comes down to very small moments. Can you step safely without grabbing the railing? Can you climb stairs confidently? Can you trust your legs again? Sometimes freedom at 70 or 80 starts with something as simple as stepping up properly. The second exercise may look simple, but it can make a huge difference in the way older adults walk and carry themselves. Glute kickbacks. As people age, and especially after years of sitting more than moving, the muscles at the front of the hips start getting tighter and tighter. The body slowly leans forward more. Steps become shorter. Walking loses confidence. I see this all the time. People don't even notice it happening at first. They just start shuffling a little more each year. And what's interesting is that when those front hip muscles stay tight for too long, they actually make it harder for the glutes to activate properly. It's almost like the body forgets how to use them. That's where kickbacks help. This movement wakes the glutes back up again. Not with heavy weight, just with controlled motion and good posture. Standing tall and gently extending the leg backward helps retrain the brain and body to work together again. Over time, posture improves. Walking feels smoother. The stride becomes more natural instead of stiff and cautious. And another thing many people notice is less pressure on the lower back. Because when the glutes finally start doing their job again, the lower back doesn't have to overcompensate for every step. Sometimes the goal isn't walking faster, it's walking with confidence again. A lot of older adults come into the clinic convinced their lower back is the main problem. And sometimes it is. But honestly, many times the real issue starts somewhere else. Weak glutes. When those muscles stop supporting the body properly, the lower back has to take over almost everything. Standing, walking, getting out of a chair, even staying upright for long periods. Over time, those small back muscles become exhausted from doing work they were never designed to handle alone. That's why I really like glute bridges for seniors. It's one of the safest and most effective ways to retrain the body. You're lying down, so balance isn't a concern. That allows people to focus completely on activating the hips and glutes the right way. Slowly lifting the hips off the floor may seem simple, but it teaches the body something important again. The hips are supposed to be the engine of movement, not the lower back. And when patients finally reconnect with those muscles, I often see a huge difference. Less stiffness, less strain, standing taller without even thinking about it. Some people even say walking feels smoother and more comfortable after a few weeks. Not because the spine magically changed overnight, but because the body finally stopped forcing the back to do all the work alone. Sometimes pain relief starts with waking up muscles that have been asleep for years. The fourth exercise focuses on something many people never think about until it's too late: side-to-side balance. Most falls in older adults don't happen walking in a straight line. They happen during sudden little moments. Slipping on wet ground, turning too quickly, catching a foot on uneven pavement. And when that happens, the muscles on the sides of the hips are supposed to react instantly to keep the body upright. The problem is, walking alone barely strengthens those muscles. Over time, they become weak and slow to respond. That's one reason sideways falls become so dangerous after 60. A hip fracture can completely change someone's life in a matter of seconds. I've seen active older adults lose confidence almost overnight after one bad fall. That's why seated band abductions can be so helpful. It's a very controlled movement, but it directly targets those stabilizing muscles around the hips. Sitting down makes it safer because there's no fear of losing balance during the exercise itself. And little by little, those side muscles become stronger and more responsive again. Some people also develop what we call a Trendelenburg gait, where the hips slightly drop to one side while walking because the stabilizers are too weak. Many seniors think it's just normal aging, but often it's weakness that can still improve. And honestly, feeling steady while walking outside again, that confidence means everything. The last exercise is probably the most challenging one on this list, but honestly, it may also be the most important for staying independent as you get older. Modified split squats. And no, this isn't about trying to look athletic or train like a bodybuilder. This is about making sure each leg can still support you safely in real life. Most people don't realize they have one leg stronger than the other. The stronger side quietly takes over for years. It helps you stand up, climb stairs, and keep moving without you noticing the imbalance. But over time, the weaker leg falls further behind. Then one day, something simple happens. The stronger leg gets tired, sore, or injured, and suddenly balance becomes a real problem. That's why split squats matter so much. This movement forces each leg to work independently. It exposes weaknesses the body has been hiding for years. And that's actually a good thing, because once the weakness is exposed, it can finally be improved. What I like most about this exercise is that it combined everything we've talked about: strength, balance, coordination, stability, even body awareness. The hips and knees learn how to support weight correctly again without relying on compensation. I've seen older adults become much steadier after practicing this movement carefully and consistently. And honestly, that confidence changes people. Because at this stage of life, exercise is not about appearance anymore. It's about freedom. It's about being able to trust your own body when nobody else is there to help you. One thing I really wish more people understood is that exercise after 60 is no longer mainly about burning calories or trying to look younger. At this stage of life, the real goal is independence. It's being able to get out of bed without struggling, carry groceries without fear, walk through a parking lot confidently, climb stairs without holding your breath. Those simple, everyday things matter far more than most people realize. And yes, heart health is important. Walking, staying active, keeping circulation healthy, all of that matters. But structural strength matters too. The muscles, joints, balance, and coordination that keep you upright and stable every single day. What gives me hope as a doctor is that the body can still improve much later in life than people think. I've seen patients in their 70s and even 80s rebuild strength they thought was gone forever. The body still adapts. The brain still learns. Muscles still respond when they are challenged consistently. That's part of something called neuroplasticity. Basically, the brain and body keep communicating and rebuilding pathways when we keep using them. But the key is consistency, not intensity. You do not need brutal workouts. You do not need to train like an athlete. Small movements done regularly can completely change how a person moves, feels, and ages. And honestly, it is never too late to start giving the body a reason to stay strong. At the end of the day, staying strong after 60 usually comes down to small things done consistently. Small movements, small habits, small decisions repeated over time. Most people don't suddenly lose their independence overnight. It happens little by little when the body stops being challenged, when movement becomes more limited, and when fear slowly replaces confidence. That's why exercises like these matter so much. Not because they make someone look younger, but because they help protect something far more important. Freedom. The freedom to walk safely through your home, to climb stairs without panic, to get out of a chair without needing help, to keep living life on your own terms for as long as possible. And honestly, getting older does not automatically mean becoming weak. I've seen people in their 70s and 80s become steadier, stronger, and more confident simply by staying consistent with the right movements. The key is starting where you are. Slow is fine. Simple is fine. What matters is continuing to move and giving your body a reason to keep adapting. Thank you so much for spending time with us today on the Senior Health Channel. I truly hope this video encourages you to take care of your strength before small problems become bigger ones. If you found this helpful, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need this information too. And most importantly, I wish you health, stability, confidence, and many more years of living independently and moving without fear.